Hi guys, Politics with Cheri Jacobus here. There's this new report now that there's the group looking into what's happened to the Secret Service. This group of bipartisan experts. They have now recommended a complete reformation and rehauling of the Secret Service. They are using the assassination attempt in Pennsylvania as sort of the linchpin for this, but I find it interesting. They say that it's become bureaucratic, that they're trying to cut corners, all of this stuff. I mean, when we've always thought of the Secret Service, we always thought this is the big freaking deal. These guys and women are there to protect you and they don't make mistakes. And we've seen a lot of former, retired Secret Service agents be appalled at what's happened in recent years with the current Secret Service. So let's take a step back. All right. Do you remember Tony Ornato? Tony Ornato was an assistant director of the Secret Service who became a Trump loyalist. That's not supposed to happen. Secret Service agents are supposed to be completely apolitical. They are supposed to protect anyone and everyone that they are assigned to protect. They're not supposed to play favorites. They're not to show a political favoritism. Once you insert political favoritism and loyalty into it, obviously the quality of the agents and their performance is going to suffer because you have now shifted focus. And also, people being people, your feelings get in the way. So what did Trump do? He took Tony Ornato, a loyalist, assistant Secret Service director, and he did something that was unprecedented and shocking and disturbing and troublesome. He made him his White House deputy chief of staff, a purely political job. No one could figure out why. Why would you choose this guy to be your deputy chief of staff? Well, after that, a bunch of stuff happened. And again, I'm just putting it out there. It's not too hard to connect dots. I mean, this is what FBI, investigators, oversight committee, CIA, this is what people do. All right. And we do it too. We have the Secret Service that is now the Secret Service. The deputy White House chief of staff is a loyalist Secret Service agent to then President Trump. Right away, that is disturbing and weird. All right. Now we go to January 6th. All right. January 6th, there's all of these text messages among all of these Secret Service agents who were part of the Trump White House. And if there was one Trump loyalist in the assistant director of the Secret Service, you can bet your bottom dollar that they recruited other Trump loyalists. Remember, this is what cults do. This is how cults are formed. And of course, you're going to do the work to make sure that the cult is going to be surrounding your cult leader to keep him safe. Well, if loyalty is the standard, then you're not necessarily going to have the best agents on the job. So on January 6th, there was enough contact amongst all of them, or many of them, I should say, that they were compelled to delete their messages just for that day. And you couldn't just delete them to make them go away. You had to take extra steps to completely wash them away so that they could not be found if law enforcement were looking for them. So this was intentionally done, which should pretty much tell us that there was a lot going on that day that wasn't supposed to be going on that put people in danger. And I believe that they had further plans, had things gone further that day. So you've got that situation, the deleted text messages with the Secret Service. We then find out that there's some problems. Well, that day, look back up here, that day also was then Vice President-elect Kamala Harris had a scheduled non-public visit to the DNC, which meant there was a finite group of people who knew that she was going to be at the Democratic National Committee on January 6th. Okay, nothing weird about that, except for the fact that there would have been a sweep in and around the DNC before her arrival. Well, there was a sweep. There was a Secret Service sweep. Now, remember, this is still the Trump administration. So the Secret Service agents who were there to protect anybody and everybody, whoever they were assigned to, many of them were Trump loyalists. We know that now for a fact. and that a Trump loyalist was then elevated to White House Deputy Chief of Staff. Again, keep all that in mind. So on January 6th, Vice President-elect Kamala Harris is going to the DNC. So it's not like it was a public event where lots of people, maybe people who meant to cause her harm, would know about this. It was a finite group of people that was very limited, mainly to the Secret Service and very few other people. They did the sweep and they missed the pipe bomb? Are you freaking kidding me? That just doesn't happen. You can ask anybody who's ever been a member of the Secret Service or anybody who's ever been in that type of level of law enforcement. Those mistakes simply don't happen, particularly on a day that they already were alerted was going to be a high risk day. This was going to, they knew there was danger that day all around the Capitol. Everybody knew this because of the, be there, it'll be wild. Okay. They all knew. That day in particular would have required a more diligent sweep, bomb sweep by the Secret Service of anywhere the vice president-elect, the vice president, the president-elect, anybody was going to be. Okay. We also know that day that Mike Pence, who was Trump's vice president, who refused to cheat for him in the election. He refused to simply not certify the election. He was going to certify the election. He refused to overthrow a democratically elected president who was going to be coming in office. He refused to do this for Trump. He refused to be a part of the insurrection. But Mike Pence knew that he was in danger because when Trump's terrorists, his domestic terrorists, attacked the Capitol, and that is exactly what it was. Many of the January 6 people who have been arrested have said, well, they did that for Trump because that's what he wanted them to do. They were acting on their cult leaders, their terror leaders' commands. And they actually thought it was okay because Trump said it was okay to do it. So Pence knew enough to know that he was in danger. So when they whisked him out of the Capitol, when the attack began, he refused to get in the car with the Secret Service agents. Again, the Trump administration Secret Service agents, because he knew that they were up to no good, or he strongly suspected it. They were going to get him away so that the election could not be certified because he refused to do this for Trump, or worse. And he had his family with him. So Trump's own vice president didn't trust the Secret Service. In fact, we now know that Trump knew that other people were trying to hang Mike Pence. He liked it. He thought it was great. He wanted this violence. And because Pence refused to take Trump's orders and went ahead and certifying the election, that is why he is not on the ticket this time. Something that should be talked about every single day. And it's just not, because the media just doesn't want to go there. I think Trump is still good for clicks and ratings. So that happened. And then we have Commander, Biden's dog, his German Shepherd, who bit Secret Service agents 24 times. Okay, now remember, the Bidens switched out their Secret Service detail. They knew these were Trump loyalists. They suspected that they weren't safe. And they went back to some of the people, the Secret Service agents who protected them when Joe Biden was vice president to Obama. So everybody knew something was up. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. So this business about we now recommend that the Secret Service be overhauled because of what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania, because former President Trump was grazed in his ear, which I think looked a little bit staged. They're blaming the Secret Service for not securing a wide enough area, for cutting corners and maybe trying to subcontract this out to local law enforcement. Now, here's the thing. Trump now has to do indoor venues to pay for them. The reason Trump was doing these outdoor venues is because he didn't want to pay for indoor venues. He didn't want to pay for the air conditioning. He stiffed a lot of people in past campaigns, so a lot of venues won't take him. He didn't care about people fainting in the crowd. But the Secret Service would never have gone along with this. But again, if you're a Trump MAGA cult loyalist, You do as you're told. So I strongly suspect that this overhaul, because of what happened in Butler, is really about a lot of other things. And I think it's a very, very positive development. So that's what I think is really going on with the Secret Service. And these are just the things we know about. These are just the things we know about. So you got to wonder about the things we don't know about. Keep that in mind.